Is it on? Yes, recording. Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Entrepreneurs Mastermind meeting. So, we're going to do today is, since we didn't have any volunteers for Spotlight, I thought it might be helpful to go through some of what I learned on this class I just took. So, last week, so you should check out in your own city, but I know in Austin, they have it's like a small business entrepreneurs center, basically. The government sponsors free classes and trainings for people that are small business and entrepreneurs, because the idea is they want to encourage businesses to be in Austin, and they also want to help specifically actually like minorities and women too, because I want to say like, hey, look at all these cool businesses that have been started here and nowhere else, right? And so they subsidize it. So it's like they get these great teachers and professors that you normally pay a lot more for, but it's subsidized. So I paid $50 for this class. The guy that taught it was he's kind of like a big shot marketing guy. He was a professor at UT, has his MBA. He did marketing and social media for like huge name brands. He has his own consulting firm. He actually does marketing for Amazon.com now. He's consulting with them and doing their branding. He knew about the Whole Foods acquisition you guys probably heard about. That was the day that you're muted, Martine. I didn't hear. You're like, yeah. So yeah, that was the day I took it, was when Amazon purchased Whole Foods. And so he was really good. So I recommend checking it out in your local city to see if they have any offerings, because I got a lot of it. So I posted the slides in the Slack channel. There's a million slides, and there's like 262 slides, and it's got like a million. If you go to that Bitly link, there's a lot of cool graphics and just like good social media strategy stuff in there. And when you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, that's obvious, like common sense, right? It's like, duh, you should engage your customers, ask them what they want. But I don't know about you guys, but like sometimes I just don't think about that stuff. You know, I don't think about content creation and all these type of things, of when and where I should be posting. So it kind of has guidelines for that. So check it out. So let me share my screen. Share screen. And let's do desktop one. Yeah. All right. Can you guys see that? Give me a head nod or a thumbs up. Cool. Okay, I'll go on present mode. Yes. You got that? The full screen? I can't see anything because I'm full screen.
Oh, yes. We can see everything. It's glorious. It's beautiful.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. Yeah. So what I did is I distilled that. I took some notes on it and I distilled it down to if I wrote it down, it was something that stuck in my head as something important. So I'm just going to go through that with you guys a little bit and just chime in, ask questions. Like, I don't want this to be just like me, just like rambling things off. So yeah, definitely just chime in on ideas or comments or anything. So it's going to kind of be a little bit, I just whipped this together. It's going to be a little bit kind of scattered all over the place. It's kind of stream of conscious, but just work with me on it. So I just did key takeaways. So these are just kind of tidbits again. So one thing I learned, actually, I didn't know this. Let me know if you guys knew, but Google actually ranks you higher in SEO if you post to Google+. So I never post to Google+. It's kind of useless. Nobody looks at it. But apparently, if you post things to Google+, it will rank you higher, or your brand higher, your product higher in a Google search. So what this guy was saying to do is just repost things that you're posting on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Just post them on Google+. Nobody's going to look at it, but it'll rank you higher. Do you guys know about that?
I was going to say, what is Google Plus? Like, I've heard of it, but I don't know how it functions.
Exactly. Has anyone heard of Google Plus? Like,
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just it never really got off the ground.
Yeah, so it was Google's answer to like Facebook, kind of. They wanted us.
Oh, you
Yeah,
have a
they want.
feed on there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
if
was.
you have a Gmail, you automatically have a feed on there.
Oh, I thought it was just a weird like
Really?
circles thing. You had like your circles, and that's all I remember.
Yeah, it is weird, and it never really took off, but it'll help you. Everyone uses Google search, right? So if you for your business, set up a Google Plus page, just like you set up a Facebook or Instagram, and just post to it. So that was one. I didn't know that. The other thing he said was, again, followers don't matter that much. It's really the evangelists that you want. You want people that are going to be, you want other people to be like speaking about your brand, right? Whether it's customers uploading pictures, things like that. If you could just have like 10,000 followers, but if nobody's interacting or engaging or retweeting things or sharing pictures of that awesome, smoothie you just made, then it doesn't really matter. So one of the things he mentioned was, if you're a construction company and you're working with suppliers, partner with them and just say, hey, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I'll mention your product in my social marketing, and I'll say, oh, this is the best product for like the best cement for a pool or something. Go check these guys out, and then they'll hit you back, say, hey, if you really need a pool made or something, check out these guys. They're the best at it. So stuff like that. Content marketing is the only marketing. Content is key today, and that's what really drives people to the brand. And what he said is, you need to have this approach of give, ask. And what that means is, you shouldn't just be posting about your product or brand all the time on your Twitter feed or your Instagram feed. You should be adding value to people that follow you, to your interest groups. So like Martine, like for your example, for the cooking company, you don't want to just post your own. You definitely want to post like your own recipes and your own foods. But if you see something, if you're like shopping at a farmer's market and you see something really awesome, or you meet somebody, just post it on social media, give them a shout out and say like, we use their stuff in our brands. And then so you're kind of helping them out. They'll help you out. And this way it doesn't look like you're just selling yourself. You're helping other people. So I thought that was interesting. The ratio they said for Twitter, this probably applies. I don't know if this applies to Instagram, but they kind of said 30. Twitter is like a cocktail party. Like, you go to a cocktail party, you don't just talk about yourself. You should talk about other people's things, or things that are related to what you're doing, like 70% of the time, and then push your product, or like brag about your product about a third of the time. So there's that. And then I just rolled this to the other slide because I didn't fit on that slide. Yeah, this is the most important thing. This is one of those things also, like, if you've done enough reading or research on marketing, entrepreneurship, you need to have understanding of your customers. Like, I know this, we all know it, but talking to customers is kind of a pain in the ass. Like, surveying people, like, you got to bother people all the time. It feels like you're being annoying, but it's 100% the most important thing you're going to have to do. Figure out if what you're making is what they need. He did have, I'll throw in one story here. He had this story about Dr. Pepper. I think Dr. Pepper is Dr. Pepper a Texas company, Danielle? Yeah. Dr. Pepper he had some Texas stories in here. It's a Texas soda company. And when they were first starting out, the founder, the CEO, he wanted to understand the customers better. So all he did was he sat in the store, and they had all these sodas like in a cooler, and there was like Dr. Pepper, Coke, Pepsi, 7-Up, whatever. And he would just look what they did. And what they did, most people are right-handed. So what they do is they lift the cooler up with their left hand, and they would just kind of grab whatever's closest to the right hand. So it's like right side of the cooler. So if they see like a Coke, I'll take a Coke. Pepsi, take a Pepsi. Dr. Pepper will take that. So he's like, what can I do here? So all he did was he moved all the Dr. Peppers to the right side of the cooler, and all of a sudden sales went through the roof, because this time like nobody knew about Dr. Pepper, so they're not really willing to try it. But if they open the cooler and it's like all Dr. Peppers, they'd be like, okay, that's cool. Maybe I'll try that. And so that's just a perfect example. Like all he did was sit there and watch what people did. So I thought that was a cool example.
Jason, did you know that that's how Amazon started, that exact same way?
No, I did not. What's
Amazon
there?
When they Bezos, or not, I'm sorry, not Bezos, they basically like the venture capital group that was involved in like launching that company, they had all of their interns go sit in every single Barnes and Noble bookstore throughout New York City one summer, and their only job was to sit, like they were reading a book, and they tallied all of the books that were sold that summer in New York City, and that's how they sized their market.
Yeah.
And like what people were buying, because they couldn't get the data obviously, so that's how they knew that it was a success.
So they figured out, is that how they figured out like what they should be selling? Or
Yeah, so Amazon started as selling books online. That was the only thing they sold at first. So they were trying to prove that there was enough people still buying books that they would purchase them.
Okay. Yeah, perfect example. It's like low tech thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about you guys, but like a lot of times, we all work remotely and on the internet, right? So we don't think about, just hire some interns or some kids to go collect some market data for me, like not everything has to be on the internet. So yeah, that's a good story. Thanks, Caitlin. I had one other example I remembered from my brain. It's an example about Rackspace. It's another Texas company. They're kind of like AWS or Azure or Google Cloud. They basically sell cloud services, like servers in the cloud. And so when they were first getting started, they're based out of San Antonio. That's where Horacio is. And what they were doing was they said, hey, sign up now and we'll give you 3 months of free service. So the problem is the big companies, in order to do this, they would need to change, right? They need to change how they're doing things. They're not using these servers. They need to switch to a whole new provider. And in a big company, it takes so long just to set up a new customer, get the purchase order right, get you in the accounting system. Like by the time they change to the new service, that 3 months is up, right? And now they got to switch back. It just wasn't worth it. 3 months does nothing for a big company. It just doesn't, they don't move that fast. So they figured this out, and they're trying to find a way to drive more sales, right? And so they had the best success they had was all they did was they started sending cheesecakes to the office whenever someone signed up from that company, or if the company signed up. So now basically someone signs up, they say, okay, cool, we're sending this fancy cheesecake from this special place, whatever. Cheesecake ends up in the kitchen, and now everyone's like, you guys have worked in offices, you're like, oh, cheesecake, who brought in the cheesecake? Cool, cheesecake, right? And then it says love Rackspace or something, and then everyone's like, oh, what's Rackspace? So it gets the conversation started. So just another thing, it's just like it's right there in front of you, but like I don't know, I wouldn't have thought of that. It's pretty cool. And then it just think about cheap ways to get exposure. Make it worthwhile for people to share your stuff. People do things like people are thinking there's self-interest, right? So they're not just gonna share your stuff because unless they really, really love the brand, give them a reason to do it, whether it's a coupon, 10% off, whatever. Say like, oh, share this on Facebook and we give you a 10% coupon to your first, your first video collection that Gianna's doing, right? Like, so that's perfect. Another thing you can do is, support causes if it makes sense for your business. People love that. That's actually in this chart somewhere I saw. They said the number one reason people share on social media is to support a cause, which I didn't know, but now you know. Let me see how much more I got. I don't take
There's
too
a
much time.
really cool example about that from Soundstripe, which is the music licensing service I use. And essentially when I signed up, they had a promotion going where you would get like 20% off of your subscription, whether you did the month-to-month or the yearly, if you donated to this cause that they were supporting. And so essentially, I mean, you could donate less, but I took that 20% and just put it towards the cause. And I was like, oh, these people are super cool. And now I just tell everyone about them.
Oh, exactly. That's awesome. And he gave an example like that too. And it's because, and especially, the stereotype is, I think it's sort of true. I'm kind of a millennial, kind of on the older end, but like millennials want to support causes. Like you want, you have a million choices in your brand. So if you're a brand that said, okay, donate $1, $5 to like save dogs, and then you get a discount on your purchase, like it's a win-win. And now you love the brand because they're awesome. So other things, he mentioned the Air Force social media chart as a great guideline on how to interact with people on social media. Check that out. I haven't checked it out yet, but he said apparently the Air Force knows their shit when it comes to social media. So it's like how to deal with like negative attention, how to follow up with people, how you should act online basically. And the thing with negative attention is if people are talking shit about, if they had a bad experience, like, on an airline, when you tweet them and say, hey, American, you suck, give me a free ticket. The biggest thing is just like take it offline. Like just respond and just be like, oh, sorry, you had a problem. You can email me here, or just send this link and we'll get you taken care of. Like you don't want them to keep posting things on Facebook or Twitter about how much your product sucks. You don't want that. So other stuff about content, videos. A lot of people love videos, but then there's others that don't like videos. They'd rather do text. Like for me, I would rather read a blog and just skim the text at my own speed. Some people love videos. So you got to do both, basically. Have the videos, have the text, have the pictures. And then for videos, 2 minutes max. Nobody has an attention span more than 2 minutes. Like just keep it 2 minutes. 1 minute's probably better. And then other content, blogs. Google loves blogs, apparently. If you have a blog on your website and you're updating it frequently, it increases your search engine ranking significantly. Just make sure that like the tags and the content matches your brand, right? And then Google will rank you higher for that. One other thing about SEO, you might know this or you might not, but the more backlinks you have to your page, like if you have a lot of people referencing your blog article, for example, or retweeting it, or just people going to it from different sources, that ups your search engine optimization also big time. So
I have a question.
yeah.
When it comes to that sort of thing, how are they all linked? Like say your blog is getting a lot of viewing and whatnot, but you've got your blog, some aspect of your company, like separate from your website or something. Is there a way to link them all, or do they have to be, I don't know if this question makes sense.
Yeah, no, I know.
But say you've got two elements of your business, how can they both be affected by the positive SEO that you get from lots of people clicking on your blog?
Yeah, good question. What I would say is if you can, have your blog be the same domain as your business, right? Like what's your website name, Gianna? I forget.
Silvermoth Films.
Silvermoth Films. Yeah. So you should have a Silvermoth Films /blog or a blog.silvermothfilms, right? And that's going to keep, and make sure your blog on there is about 5 tips to make
Film stuff, yeah.
to make your video way better, or
Yeah.
7 things you should never do when editing a video. People love that stuff. Like,
But what
I want,
about say
I want to
your
click that.
Facebook page or something?
What's
how
that?
do I then make sure my Facebook page is linked and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so you read
Instagram or something, like I
Yeah.
get really popular on Instagram. How does that Up my
Have
SEO.
the widgets embedded in and the icons embedded in your main domain site.
Oh, so that'll link. That's enough to link it.
So like even if you post on Instagram a whole lot and you have a lot of engagement there, as long as like at the bottom of your blog or your website that like Instagram icon is linked and people can also like feed through, then it'll start to connect them. You obviously have to get people who like will click through,
But Google will pick up on that and like.
But it'll start to connect the two.
Oh, okay, good to know.
Yeah, and also that's a good point. Yeah, one other thing I wanted to mention is in your blog you should make it easy for people to share. I think WordPress probably does this automatically and other things, but yeah, have a Facebook share button, a Twitter share button, Instagram, whatever. Just make it easy for people to share. And then also, like Kaylin just said, I think it connects the two also in the SEO. So another thing about content aggregation, and this is something I didn't even think of, is that you don't have to create all the time. You can just aggregate. So if someone posts an article, 8 things you need to do to be awesome, just tweet that link or put it on Facebook and then say, hey guys, I think, there's one other thing I would add to this that you need to do to be awesome. What do you guys think? And so now you're like adding just like a little bit to it, or you could say, oh, I disagree with this point. Just add your own little like opinion. Because you're the expert on the brand and stuff, and this way it's sharing content with people, and then also shows that you've read it and you're engaging. So what you can do for content is have a bunch of things that you want to post on blogs or social media, and then also have every once in a while just like constantly be looking through your, I don't know what the word is, the community, sales funnel, whatever you do to keep up with the latest in video editing techniques, or the latest in the gaming world, like the latest developments, or the latest in cooking, or the coolest knives, whatever. Just keep up with that, and then try to share that with your users and add your own take on it. Okay, I got about 2 more slides. So there's a ton more stuff, but I just wanted to get the main stuff. He also recommended, he's saying he really liked Inc. magazine for like their articles on marketing and social media. So I don't know, I used to subscribe to them, so I don't know, maybe follow them on social media or just check out some of their articles. Highly recommended them. One other trick to promote your brand is to make it exclusive. Even if it's not, like, think of Remote Year, right? They market it as like, oh, we take like 70 million candidates and we only select 60 of the best, right? Does that really happen? Like, well, maybe like that many people apply, but not that many people paid that $50 fee, right, for the application. So stuff like that, like make it seem like they're getting a special deal, or it's only for you at this special time, or something like that. I talked about this a little bit, but third-party endorsements for your brand is really important. Like I said, even more so than followers, right? Because the first thing you do when you buy a product, right, what do? You go around Google, you see what's out there, and then you like narrow it down. If it's something that you've never heard of and like nobody's ever used, are you gonna buy that product? Probably not. Like if something has no reviews on Amazon, probably not buying that. So the more positive endorsements you can get, the better. And if you look at some of the modern websites and stuff, you see that, especially the tech companies, they always say, oh, trusted by GitHub, trusted by Microsoft, whatever. That's all good stuff. And then headlines for your social media. There's been, a lot of testing done. I think BuzzFeed is the master at this, but from what he said, you know, have a number in your title, right? Like these are examples. You guys have all seen this, like 10 things you need to do to improve marketing, 5 things you should never do to get more customers, 8 weird ways to get people to buy. Like you see that, you just want to click that. Like I want to click that right now, right? What are the 8 weird ways? Do I know all those things? Maybe there's something they didn't get, and then comment on that. Yeah, and then as far as social media personalities, like you can get a little crazy. People want to see personality. Delta is one of the brands that does weird stuff like that. Like I don't know if you follow them on Twitter. I don't, but I did after you mentioned this. But they do a lot of like weird pictures of jets and then say like "baby got back" and stuff. So definitely check that out. It's funny. You know, people like to be funny on Twitter. So, and after all, social media is people go in there for entertainment, right? Like they don't, unless it's LinkedIn. But for the other ones, people are just trying. They want to be entertained. Let's see. Part 5. Yeah, this is the last slide. Yeah, stop me again if you have any like comments or questions or anything. I'll answer as best as I remember. So some other little tidbits on here. This is another thing I didn't know. Facebook rewards you in terms of their ranking on their newsfeed for sharing things that are already popular. So if you some video that went viral, maybe it relates to your brand, you know, some video about gaming or something.
I've noticed that on some of my Nunchi posts. Like sometimes I share videos or articles, and the things that are kind of already running around get a lot more views than things that are kind of a little older, because I'll go search for just the information that I want to present that day, and the things that are already kind of top of mind seem to get the most reach.
Yeah, it's totally weird, and it's counterintuitive to what I would have thought, because I would have thought something that because I kind of think like, oh, that's already been shared 10,000 times. Like, why would I need to share it again? But when you do that, it'll rank you up higher on the Facebook feed. So something to think about. I think I'm getting a little
really nice, by the way.
What's that?
I wish it would take off. It's a lot better organized than Facebook for
What's that?
So you can put collections together. So just in the way you could organize your blog posts, you can do the same thing for your post on Google Plus. So it seems like a lot of brands and businesses are doing that. So yeah, I don't see like people in here at first glance, but I'm like, whoa, this actually makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, check it out. It's definitely overlooked. I mean, I don't post there, but yeah, I would just say, yeah, copy paste. If you're posting something on Instagram, post it on Google Plus. Might as well. What else? Twitter. Oh, I talked about this already. Twitter's like a cocktail party. Don't only talk about yourself. Keep your brand personality constant. That's pretty obvious. Know what you are as a brand. So if you're like,